liverapwebsite.com. You already know what's going on. Another Friday live stream. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Zero. Yo, Dre in the chat, he said he the first person here. Zero is like always the first person here. Zero is here before I even put the starting soon screen on. He's here before that. So shout out to Zero. Another Friday live stream. Obviously, you see the title. We're going to be reacting to, and let me know if my sound is good. My sound, everything should be good. But we're going to be reacting to that boy, Glazer. He got a new video up. This is his newest video. So we're going to take a look at that. Let me arrange this screen over here real quick. Give me a second, guys. Okay. We're going to be reacting to this. Drake/OVO has a Glazer problem. So I'm wondering how Luis is going to spin this. We react to many of Luis's videos. Here's his channel. Give him a follow. He doesn't need more followers. He has 1.5 million, but shout out to Luis. Every subscriber counts. So go subscribe to his channel. A lot of great videos. And before I get into this video, we're just going to do some basic housekeeping. This is my channel. These are the new videos I've posted this week. Just posted one today. We got our academics pie chart. So this is like the most requested video that I've ever had. I've done the Drake pie chart, the Kendrick, the Tyler. I even did a Nicki Minaj pie chart. It was very simple. The Nicki Minaj one. The academics one is up. So this is like a fan favorite at this point. Go take a look at it. Obviously, after this video, we dropped a video last night. 2 videos last night. No, 1 or 2? 2. We dropped the Math Hoffa one. And then earlier that day, we dropped this one. Drake getting lied to by Drake. I think Academics is getting lied to by Drake, rather. I think Academics is going to go live today. I don't think it's going to mess with my views because a lot of you guys don't like Academics anyways. But he hasn't went live in like 2 weeks. And a bunch of other videos that I've posted. Make New York Rap Great Again. A lot of people were mad at this title. I think people are just mad at me, it seems. But well, why so? What did I do? Anyway. Oh, yeah. Did you guys like the sponsored ad? Have you guys seen this? The sponsored ad in the video. I tried to do a cool little cutaway to the ad. But what I didn't used to do every day was take my data security serious. But now I do, thanks to this video sponsor. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I'm very grateful to have a sponsor. We'll just do this real quick. Usually channels that are as small as mine, I barely have 16,000 subscribers. To have a sponsor is very rare. It's unprecedented. I've never seen a channel with 16K have a sponsor on it. So the fact that a company decided, yo, we want to sponsor this dude, we like the content, we like how he conducts himself, to me, that's an honor. So all the info is in the description. I won't bore you guys with that. Let's get on to the video. Glazer, OVO, Drake has a Glazer problem. I think a lot of fan bases have Glazer problems, to be completely honest.
Kendrick and Drake's feud has divided hip-hop in a lot of ways. Whether it's across coasts, countries, or even crews, the ensuing fallout from Kendrick's new album and the news that Drizzy was preparing to sue has left everyone picking sides once more, even in the one place where objectivity is supposed to be held in the highest esteem. Recently, a media war has kicked off between Team Kendrick and the OVO Vengers, and unfortunately for Drake's most adamant defenders, they just can't seem to acknowledge
Team Drizzy and the, what do you say? Team Kendrick and the OVO defenders?
The L. It's your boy Luesta.
The K-Bots.
OVO has a Glazer problem. And where better to start than the man who takes the crown in that department? Ever since the Kendrick and Drake beef began, there has been a real reluctance to accept defeat on the part of his fans, as well as his mouthpieces in the media.
Sure.
And if there's any one man that has led this charge, it's unquestionably DJ Academics. A longtime advocate of Drake's, he's never made any secrets that the OVO leader is his personal GOAT. And over time, they have developed a relationship of sorts where Academics will occasionally provide insights from Drake to people on his stream. For example, when the lawsuit went down, he was the first one to say that he heard from his camp in Toronto.
It's clearly not Drake, right? So Drake didn't tell her this. Again, first of all, I reached out to Drake too. He's not speaking on this, right? And he doesn't need to speak on it. Yeah, it is what it is. So
and that is the one critique I have about Academics is like the whole Kendrick and Drake thing. It's just so obvious, the false narratives that he's willing to spin on behalf of Drake. It hurts his credibility in some ways. And as a media person, like Academics who breaks news, you really don't want your credibility shot. And I did a video recently on how his credibility was shot in a different way as it pertains to Drake. And this, some people say this is why Academics hasn't streamed in like 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure it's just an extended holiday. But yeah.
Awesome. You know what I'm saying?
This is just one of the many communications that have come our way via academics over the course of the beef. Meanwhile, on academics' part, he has spent most of it furiously caping for Drizzy at every opportunity and attempting to downplay the effectiveness of Dot's diss tracks. As a result, you got arguments like Kendrick never doing anything for Cali apart from harvesting its regional sounds. And to this day, academics continues to proudly wave the flag for the OVO cause at every opportunity. Even though, as people have begun to note, he doesn't exactly get much of a reward for his unyielding loyalty.
I mean, of course, well, Drake is academics' favorite rapper. So people do the same on behalf of Kendrick too. Like they'll defend him tooth and nail, and you're not getting anything for this, right? You're just online arguing with people, but you do it anyways.
Instead, he sets himself up to be clowned by the public for being so blinded by admiration, and it doesn't help that the treatment dates back to Drake's own early encounters with him. During his one and only physical appearance on Academics' stream, he essentially treated him like a little brother, sunning him whenever possible.
I thought you're off the course light right now, I'm not gonna lie.
Stop it. Only drink Hennessy. I'm a cognitive dude. I lost my voice tonight. Getting hyped to your demo. I don't know why you call it a demo. It's really leaks.
I was trying to find a crafty way to deliver it to the people.
I felt a little let down because I thought we had a report.
I'm not doing an interview with you, man. I added you to see that.
He said, I'm not doing an interview with you.
Bottle, that's it, man.
What are you drinking?
I need to see you do a triple shot right now for the people.
I'm gonna get a cup. A triple shot.
I want to see you fry your guy right now. For all the times that me and you've been through, I need to see you pour the crazy.
Yo, the dude telling you to do a triple shot and you just grab the bottle. Yo, I mean, you got it. I mean, I don't know.
Be a shot right now. Do it right now for the people.
All right, hold on.
Nah, don't play with me, man.
Of course, I'm gonna pour up a shot.
Nah,
I can't wait till the album
yo,
drop.
pour that shot. I need to see you fry your guy.
This is a shot? This nigga drink. All right, hold on.
This guy is in the professional gamer studio. I need to see you.
Of course, I'm gonna. Hey.
And as soon as this happened, people couldn't believe that Ak couldn't see the true intent in Drake's disdainful actions towards him. From there, it set the tone for how people have seen the former Everyday Struggle host's unfaltering support of Drake.
Johnny in the chat said the real top 5. Yeah, I'm the real top 5. There's like a fake top 5 going around. He's like from Toronto or he's like Somalian or something, but I'm the real top 5. Zero in the chat said facts or info got to be proper or properly sourced or you'll go out looking like Dave Meltzer. Yeah, especially if you're like, I would say that applies to all media platforms, but especially if you're breaking news. Like technically I'm a media platform, but I'm not breaking news. So even if I report something that's false, it's not going to be as damaging as if CNN reports it. And Academics breaks news. So it would hurt him in a similar way.
Drake ever since. Ak is that little kid in the movies who will do anything to impress the cool kids at school, but they really just be f***ing with him. Rather than treat Drake how he treats him, he continues to serve as the first line of defense against any Drake slander. And these days, it looks like it's taking its toll.
Even if y'all say Drake ain't win, I'm rooting for any nigga that can f Kendrick up. I'm tired of this shit. He got rappers sounding like hoes. Niggas apologizing, scrolling through their text messages, unsending. What is this nigga doing? Y'all got the same 24 hours in a day. Why can't y'all squabble with this little midget?
Whenever a new narrative arises, such as people saying that Drake might be cooked to the extent that he might be the new Ja Rule, Academics just can't let it lie. Instead, he has to spend hours of his streams unpacking.
Drake is not the new Ja Rule. I have to see it to believe it personally.
Even though no one with a brain really believes that's a fair comparison.
I love his music too much to not see that shit popping. And I still think, as I said, there's a long way to fall for him. But put it like this. Ja Rule went from being one of the most lit to irrelevant. You'll never get Drake to irrelevant. But I think when it comes to Universal, their thing might be like, we'll get Superman to bleed. Oh, y'all used to use Drake as like it was a verb. Drake is like, people like the world.
That's, obviously this is framed in favor of Drake's lawsuit. What I mean by that, he's saying, yo, Universal, they want to make Superman bleed. He's like, Academics is framed, and this is like a thing that I was talking about earlier. Ak is already framing it as if Drake is right in his lawsuit and his accusations that UMG is helping Kendrick Lamar for whatever reason. Like, Zeus Cleopatra said he's a nerd thinking the cool kids mess with him. I'm a nerd also. So is this live on Ak's end? What do you mean? This is objectively hilarious. Yeah, this is funny.
Star effect, like Drake. Oh shit, you need that stimmy, right? I think they, their thing might. Oh no, we ain't gonna get that nigga to go irrelevant, but we'll get him to bleed.
Likewise, he has tried to douse the flames of the narrative that if Drake had just gone independent rather than choosing to stay in bed with the major record companies right now, then he wouldn't be in this position.
Somebody did ask me, they said, why doesn't Drake go independent? And I do want to tell y'all, man, that independent shit sound good, but y'all really have no idea how much these labels control. They control market share. Here's my prediction too. If Drake ever went independent, I think Drake would be able to sell how much? I don't think he would do 300. I think he'd be if Kanye did like 100.
Because independent rappers, it takes, and I won't go too much on the business end of music because I don't know too much outside of what I know, but I do know being independent as being compared on a major, it's a lot of work. Being an independent rapper is a lot of work. You're doing everything by yourself. Even if you have merch, unless you have a team or like family who can help you, you're actually going to the post office, shipping that merch out, printing, shipping labels. You're doing so much outside of just music. And you're going to need a team to help you with stuff. So you're going to have to be making money either through music or somewhere else to fund it. As compared to a major label, they already have a team in their office. So
indie, which is real indie. I'm talking about real indie. So Kanye does 100 real indie. By the way, major Kanye does 400, at least 300. Let's say 300. Drake, real indie, does 200.
Alongside his secondary account, Academics TV, that he doesn't personally
I agree,
run,
1 and 2.
Being basically dedicated to defaming K-Dot at every turn, Academics has preserved this role of a one-man PR department. But one of the most interesting things that he does is he gives Kendrick just enough credit to be able to keep some sort of objectivity. So when GNX dropped, he begrudgingly praised it.
I can't sit here in good conscience tell you this is whack. For me to say that would be me lying, and at the end of the day, I love music. Even if I have my favorites on one side, it kept me interested. He threw a few jabs, he was still saying some shit.
But there remains one major issue in Academics' coverage of the beef that keeps the consensus that he's a meat writer intact. Because even though he'll acknowledge a Drake loss, he'll always waive any personal responsibility for it from his shoulders.
Yeah.
As in his estimations, Kendrick basically plucked the notion of Drake as a misogynist out of thin air, and nothing that Drake himself did.
I do believe we're...
Yeah, I can agree with that. And I like the way that was framed, by the way. So Dre said the phony top 5 is from the northern country from us. Yeah, he's from America's Hat. It's Canada, right? It's America's Hat. Did you watch the Nile Ross video? No, I didn't. What is the Nile Ross video about?
We're going to see some shit pop out about Drake. The atmosphere right now for Drake breeds believability. If you're a woman who Drake ran through, which he ran through a lot of them, he ran through a lot of niggas' wives, baby mamas, you know, sisters, cousins, all of that stuff. Some of these people are disgruntled. I'm not saying that means it's completely false, but in the era of trying, and this is why I mentioned that he had a situation that, you know, he settled or whatever. You never heard about that. Now, because the atmosphere that Kendrick created, and probably other people are going to be like, you know what, let's amplify anything to do with Drake.
Well, actually, Kendrick didn't create that atmosphere. Future and Metro Boomin created that atmosphere. In the midst of all the Kendrick and Drake stuff, and Kendrick, you know, dissing Drake and J. Cole on Like That with Future, people seem to forget that this was all, like, that song Like That was on a Future and Metro Boomin album, We Don't Trust You. It's the name of the album, which is essentially an entire album dissing Drake. It's got all Drake's ops on it. And then they also had Kendrick. So Future and Metro Boomin created that atmosphere.
Being seen legally as he's not like us in terms of culture, or let's kind of hype up a story. Like, people file appellate briefs all the time.
With Academics, there appears to be a blind spot when it comes to Drake, as where he's critiqued every other rapper's conduct to within an inch of their lives, Drizzy always seems to get a pass. Even when people are beginning to wonder why he's doing streams with cultural outsiders like XQC and not Academics, who have been in the trenches.
Well, it's simple. Drake is Academics' favorite rapper. So you guys know how you are for Kendrick. A lot of you guys have, as bad as the Drake defenders have been, some of y'all have been just as bad for Kendrick. So you can understand caping for your favorite rapper, artist, celebrity by any means. Now, as to why Drake has not joined Academics on stream and why he's joining guys like XQC and Aiden Ross, I think it's pretty simple. Like, Drake already has the fan base that Academics has. There's nothing for Drake to discover in Academics' fan base. There's no new ground to break. All the oil has already been drawn from that ground. But XQC, that's a much different fan base than Academics. Aiden Ross, that's a much different fan base. So Drake has something to gain there. And on one hand, you can say it's business. On the other hand, you could be like, well, wouldn't you want to go on stream? Because streams are supposed to be these informal, you know, just kind of get downs. It's not an interview. It is an interview. This is an interview, right? But it's not an interview. It's not like you're on 60 Minutes. So they're supposed to be more informal. So you guys' question would probably be, wouldn't he want to go on stream with someone he's cool with and with a familiar audience who actually knows his albums? I mean, that's one way to look at it. I think Drake is looking at it like it's business. HUR says, low key, I wish Dot jumped out on his own, not on the album, but it is what it is. Yeah, I just, it goes to what I said. I think Future and Metro created that environment to where, hey, Rick Ross, come on here and diss Drake. We already have The Weeknd on here dissing Drake, and we're going to have A$AP Rocky and then Kendrick. So everyone's like, okay, we're all in this together.
For him, it's Ak who's going out of his way to defend that behavior and insist that he's not being used.
Shout Aaron in the
Despite
chat.
everything Academics has ever done for Drake as his umbrella holder in media, Drake has never made the time to say thank you. He's never invited dude to a show or a listening session or anything ever.
Oh, so now we got to pause the video because I don't know your username. What is that? We'll just call you. What is that user? Well, whoever you are, you just came through with the bag, 499. Now Ross is explaining to you what the culture means for the rest of us. That's why I was asking if you watched it regarding what's the dirt. If you guys want me to talk about what's the dirt, I'll do that at the end, I guess. I think everyone's pretty much past that situation. But I mean, if you guys want me to talk about it, I'll do it at the end. I'll do it at the end though, because I don't think like the rest of my viewers really know or care about that stuff. But you did the super chat, so I'll talk about it at the end. How long is that video? Zero said all DJs and producers are nerds too. They're in a studio all day on a computer. Yeah, tuning in secret. Yeah, exactly. We're just cool AV audio visual kids. Tons of rappers like comics and wrestling. Yeah, I'm for sure a nerd. I'm on the computer all day. If I'm not on a computer, I'm gaming. If I'm not gaming, I'm like camping or doing something outdoorsy.
What? I did this to build a business, and y'all see how good I'm doing. What did y'all do this for? To get...
Dang, is this video quality trash or is it? Okay, hold on.
Pat on the backs and listening party invites from these guys? Because I'm wondering what y'all got from all of these other people. I know a handful of rappers in the industry. I've never talked to Future. I've never talked to half of these people. I don't think I'm owed nothing. I promote Future all the time. I don't think I'm owed nothing.
From there, he's even
HUR said we're tired of talking about the what's the dirt situation. Respectfully, I think a lot of people are like stuck on it, but most people have moved on. So I mean, if enough people request it, I guess I'll talk about it at the end. But yeah, I don't think most of my core viewers, I don't think they care about that. Shout out to all the lurkers in the chat though. You don't have to post in the not in the chat. All the lurkers on the video. You don't got to post in the chat, just like the video, and we're good.
Argue that people
Where's my
were trying to tear him
academics?
apart, and that he had to keep the faith for the good of Drake's career.
I do realize in the next phase of them trying to attack Drake, and it's not that I'm like, oh, I'm trying to make sure they don't attack Drake. I'm starting to feel
This
like
video quality
these
is
K-bots
horrible.
almost value me so much. They are egging, they're begging. It feels like begging at this point. Y'all are begging for me to turn on Drake. And I'm now almost like, I want to play it out. Let's play it out verbally. If I said fuck Drake, what happens? Why do y'all talk about this so much as a thing? If I say fuck Drake, what happens next?
Arguing that he's one of the final pieces of the puzzle to dismantle Drake once and for all, it appears that he's trying his best not to be compromised in the way that Kendrick suggested. But if there's one thing...
Well, Academics, has sunk cost fallacy. So even though people are on Academics right now, like, yo, I did a video on this. It's like maybe 2 videos ago. Yo, Drake lied to Academics about the DMs not being real about that Chris dude. He lied to you. Dead in your face, he lied to you. So people are like, oh, Academics is gonna come on stream. He better hold Drake accountable like he says he holds all these other rappers accountable. It's not gonna happen. Academics has sunk cost fallacy. What does that mean? Like, let's say I've invested like so much into a stock. People who have sunk cost fallacy, even as the stock is dropping and it's clear that it's not coming back, they'll continue to hold on because they've already put so much into it. They've already put so much into it to where it's like, there's no incentive. There's no upside to me leaving. Like I've made this my personality essentially.
Thing that might jeopardize what he sees as his special relationship to Drake is the fact that deep down, he's more of an admirer of his arch enemy than he's willing to admit. Recently, he's been trying to frantically shoot himself some bail over Dot being number 2 in his Spotify Wrapped and Not Like Us being at the top of the songs. Normally, Kendrick Lamar wouldn't sniff my Spotify Wrapped, but he's number 2 on mine. The explanation for that is that's what happens when you beef with everyone's favorite rapper. We gotta listen to your shit cause of the beef. Beefing when it's just musical competition helps both artists. He's a fan, he's a fan, he's a fan. This is despite the fact that he verifiably knows all the words to his track. Because of how much of his time online is dedicated to defending Drake in every conceivable way, there's no one that could possibly take the crown of Chief OVO Avenger other than Ak. But in the pursuit of defending Drake, he's second only to Maul of the Rory and Maul podcast.
Oh yeah, yo, Maul be going crazy. I think Maul is worse than Academics, because Academics, at least, despite what you think or how you feel, like Luesta said earlier, Shout out to Joe in the chat. Yeah, it's your boy Luisa. Yes, that boy. Like Luisa said earlier, there are moments where academics will concede to being like, yo, this Kendrick album fire. Yo, Not Like Us, it's my #1 most played song of the year. Maul does not concede whatsoever.
In recent years, the former Joe Budden podcast host has become so much of a Drake Glazer that OVO Maul is a commonly used online nickname for him. And where Ak is at least capable of giving Kendrick credit,
right? Thank you.
Maul has shown a complete aversion to objectivity ever since the beef commenced.
That's literally what I just said.
Who is rapping better?
I think that Kendrick is rapping
better.
No, you don't. Yes, I do.
No, you do not.
Yes, I do.
Here we go.
Yes, I do.
Do you think that Kendrick is rapping better? He's putting out better songs? That record is not that good. I don't know what the fuck. That record would have been amazing if Drake really does have a sing. And he did rap about it. Now y'all saying you mad he rapped about it. What y'all talking about?
And as things have progressed, he's kept caping for Drake and defending every decision he made, all the while shading Dot whenever he can.
I wish he would have rapped that. Well, not the mind, body, and soul shit, but only facts can take me out, not fairy tales. That's a bar, and I wish he would have rapped it. Yeah. It looks kind of crazy when you're next to somebody that knows nothing about
what's going on. But y'all would have said the same thing if he put that bar on the song.
I like that bar.
He's bothered. He said,
I want Drake. Wait,
no matter what
I'm the one that keeps saying I want Drake to continue to rap about this.
No, I understand it, but no matter what he says, what he does, people are going to say he's bothered.
Oh, for sure.
He's affected by it. The star power is gone. He doesn't sit with anybody from the culture. It's like, bro, what are these?
The culture.
This is things he would have been doing even if the beef never happened. He would have been probably sitting with this dude because he has business with state.
Well, people have been saying that he hasn't sat with people in the culture. That was a complaint before the beef is that he doesn't.
But he sat with people in the culture.
As the months have carried on, he's even taken his rhetoric to other platforms. And on a recent appearance on Earn Your Leisure, he seemed to be advocating for
Earn Your Leisure. Wow, what happened to them? Is Earn Your Leisure still going on?
Kendrick.
They were big like in 2019, 2020.
Blackballed for his claims against Drake.
Dude right here looks like Dom Kennedy.
I think that the fact that it shaped public perception, but again, and this is something that I said from the very start of this, love Kendrick, Kendrick fans, support Kendrick.
Yeah.
But him calling one of the biggest artists in the world a certified pedophile, to me, that was like, wait, y'all listening to this? You see what happened with Jaguar Wright just went on Piers Morgan and said what she said about Jay and Beyonce.
Yo, I would respect this take from the OVO Glazers, right? That's what we're calling them. I would respect it if they gave a common sense response to Drake calling Kendrick a wife beater. If they were to give and follow their same logic, I would have respected it. But you just can't be like, yo, Kendrick called Drake a certified PDF. But yo, Drake accused Kendrick of beating on his wife. He accused Kendrick, like, yo, he talked about his kids, like one of your kids ain't even yours. Like, so if you're gonna address one thing, address both. We in the chat. Zeus Cleopatra says she a woman calling Ak a nerd, not some man checking him out. Yeah, I play the piano and I noticed that about producers and how rappers are usually conservative in private. Yeah, a lot of artsy types are usually, I find, in private more conservative than they appear to be. Maul looked insane in that clip. Facts.
Facts. You'll never see Jaguar Wright. You might not ever see Jaguar Wright on another major platform again in your life.
It's in statements like this where his unwillingness to acknowledge the hypocrisy in Drake pushing his own narrative about K-Dot comes through. All the while...
Yo, Luesta, you smart. I'm trying to put these things in there, but Luesta, you already got it covered.
Consciously overlooking the fact that when it comes to rap beef, the gloves are off.
Yeah. I really pushed this message to try to defamate his character. And again, I don't know his business, but I'm more than certain that it affected some brands. Absolutely. And some people to kind of be like, yo, let this die because we don't know what's going on with this pedophile thing. Like, let's just kind of...
Especially after the Puff thing.
It didn't get as much traction, but did he not call Kendrick Lamar a wife beater?
Thank you.
And abuser of women?
I think he posed the question.
Oh, my goodness. I think. So now you don't know. You don't remember the diss records by Drake? You think you don't know?
Picture when you beat your girls because she's bigger than you.
Exactly. So that's calling him up.
But
they hired a crisis management team to clean up the fact that you beating your queen. It's not, I think. He didn't really answer that. Come on, man. I would have needed a real answer personally.
Crazy is that it wasn't always this way, as over time, his allegiance to Drake has really intensified. Back in 2018, he seemed to understand why Pusha did what he did on Story of Adidon, as well as endorsing Joe's comments that mentioning wives escalates things a lot.
He said it. Pusha put it out there. Nothing is out of bounds right now.
What did Drake say about his fiance? He said her name. A wedding ring of what?
But Push probably feels like...
Even though, wait, time out. Before y'all go any further, I've been saying for quite some time, though, like,
Nick from a different generation, like you
I
just
do like
speaking,
that
you can't
jacket,
talk about
though.
somebody's girl.
Yeah, you be-
Because the second you talk about somebody's
Yeah.
girl, you have triggered something.
Yeah.
You have triggered another level in beef.
Yeah.
Like I'm no longer. I'm getting on the phone. I'm looking for you. We got to talk. Like really, not doing that.
Thankfully,
Agree.
Rory isn't as unrelenting in it as his co-star. While he co-signed his lawsuit against UMG and portrayed it as a potentially industry-altering event, he saw the same holes as others in some of his logic regarding defamation.
Odd with the verbiage of defamation when one could say Drake did the same to Kendrick.
Yeah.
Leave UMG out of this. Drake also said things that could be a clause for defamation if Kendrick did not do those.
Yeah, but did the label put money behind Family Matters? And
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, but yeah, Drake said those. So you pose an issue with. Oh my goodness. Oh my
is
goodness.
Kendrick in the middle of negotiating
Oh
his
my
contract
goodness.
with the same label?
Oh, I know the answer. I just wanted you to say it.
No, but that's what people are not understanding about this thing. It's not about what Kendrick said. It's Kendrick said this, but then the label amplified that to try to assassinate my character because
At the end of the day, that has what the label did has nothing to do with Drake losing the beef. Drake lost that beef because of how Kendrick rolled out post Family Matters. Post Family Matters, dropping Meet the Grams 18 minutes later, then dropping Not Like Us some hours after that. That's what really killed off Drake musically. What put the nail in the coffin was when Drake dropped The Heart Part 6, because it just essentially sounded like he was quitting. It sounded like he just didn't. It sounded like Drake had acknowledged, like, I lost. That's what the record sounds like. That's the beginning and end of it. All the UMG Universal stuff, it's crazy. Michelle in the chat, she says, Maul reiterated the domestic violence and son not being Kendrick claims himself. Yeah. I think Kendrick won the battle, and I'm no Drake fan. But it's clear after this, Joey's saying that there is a lot of TDE glazing and bandwagoning. I'll be calling out the Glazers all the time, man. Like, I'll be calling out I got videos about TDE from years ago, like what's going on over there. But that's just me, though.
I'm going through a renegotiation with them at the point in time.
Yep.
And the number I asked for is probably something that probably he's absolutely worth. But UMG is like, we don't want to pay him that.
Yeah.
Because what did they give him his last deal? 400 million? 500 million? Something like that?
I believe it was 4.
We think.
He's probably asking for at least.
To be around 4.
Yeah. He's probably asking for at least double that.
So Maul's whole thing, like, it's kind of long-winded. Maul's whole thing is that Universal, the record label, put a bunch of money behind Not Like Us by Kendrick because they wanted to lower Drake's offering price in his contract renegotiations. That's his whole thing.
Oh, I think Drake would be asking for $1 billion.
While he'll often agree with Maul in the end, there are other times where he draws the line to protect the podcast's credibility. For example, after yet another rant aimed at J. Cole about how he damaged his credibility, Rory had to remind his co-host that he wasn't the only one who bailed out of the beef.
Cole would have been laying bars down if I was in that camp. Because I'd have looked that nigga right in his eyes in North Carolina like, nigga, it's fucking
I
lit.
gotta call bullshit. You're my man, but I gotta call bullshit. Okay, then how come at the end of Heart Part 6, Drake said, I don't want to rap anymore. You played this shit out. Why didn't you tell him to rap more?
No,
because that's what
Facts.
we were looking for.
What did he say before that?
Yo,
I don't care about.
He said drop, and then he said, why you dropping too much?
Hold on.
Unsurprisingly, people have
That's
pointed out
facts.
the preferential treatment that he gives Drizzy. Maul got all the smoke for Cole bowing out, but none for Drake when suing is a million times worse, shaking my head. In Maul, Drake has a reliable source for his every action to be upheld as the correct one, but his attempts to attack Kendrick have all fallen short. However, it's not just individuals like Maul and academics on the East Coast that are coming for Kendrick. As over in Cali, Adam 22 is doing the same.
Oh yeah,
thing,
I've
and
seen some stuff that Adam 20. Yeah, Adam 22. He was only doing this for like a week and a half. Sometimes you guys call me a contrarian, but I'm actually just unpopular in most of my views. What Adam 22 was doing for like a week and a half was actually being a contrarian. Like, it's almost not even worth mentioning because he wasn't serious. Like, I believe Maul is actually very serious. I believe academics is very serious. I don't believe Adam 22 was serious. You could tell it was just like to stir shit up.
and seems intent on bringing Dot down more than anything else. Ever since the beef went down, Adam has been blasting Kendrick and praying for his downfall, even taking exception to the interview he did with SZA in Harper's Bazaar, which was in no way meant to be about the Drake scenario.
I was left with the feeling this may all backfire on Kendrick at some point, because he has built himself up now to be such an elitist character in the space. I think at a certain point, people are going to realize, like, oh, like, we really trusted this guy.
Johnny, whatever you tried to send in the chat got retracted by YouTube. Try to, that's YouTube automatically. I'd never retract anybody's messages. Try to censor a word or so. Oh, there you go. Yeah, if you guys ever get retracted, your message retracted in the chat, try to censor a word and then repost it.
and that it's just not really panning out, because to me that interview had so little substance to it, so many words and so little actual like thought-provoking sentiments expressed in it.
At the same time, he leapt to Drizzy's defense, including a controversial endorsement of his lawsuit. While it could be argued that Adam is a man who definitely knows a thing or two about publicity stunts backfiring, he's really intent on turning himself into Kendrick's.
What do you guys think of Adam's hair transplant? I actually think it's pretty darn good. Didn't he? I don't want to put this on him if he didn't actually get a I thought I remember hearing that somewhere. I thought it was a good hair transplant, to be honest. Hopefully I never have to get one, but if I need to get one, I need to find out who he went to. Would you get a hair transplant in the chat? Let me know. That's what we gonna do. Would you get a hair transplant in the chat? And yo, we need y'all to subscribe to the channel. That's it. We got a lot of people watching. We got a couple people in the chat. That's fine. You don't got to get in the chat if you don't want to. Just subscribe. I love my lurkers. Would you get a hair transplant? Yes or no?
Chief hater, and making himself a public enemy of his fans.
Kendrick is like the Donald Trump of hip hop now. And let me tell you why. Donald Trump's fan base is kind of like a cult, because no matter what Donald Trump does, they never find fault with it.
This is bullshit.
He can do things that were they done by the Democrats, everybody would be able to agree that they were
Drake
wrong.
had the popularity vote, did he not?
But here's the thing.
Now
we have Kendrick superfans who are telling us that actually buying plays and payola, it's actually totally fine. It's actually like you calling out the payola and the bots makes you wrong.
Along the way, he's even been attempting to take credit for the features on K-Dot's album, as every one of them have touched No Jumper. Yeah, Adam, I'm sure Kendrick found his homie Hida J3 when he came to your studio in Melrose. Much like Maul, Adam's attempts to completely discredit Kendrick is counteracted by Whack 100.
Drake's bargaining power is so much less now than it was a year ago.
First of all, of course, everybody's is. Let me
but
explain.
His is because of this.
Everybody, listen. When Drake,
need a brain transplant.
When Drake got this last 400 million or whatever, right?
Right.
And he was #1. And I'm throwing numbers out there. You're #1 at $1 billion. I'm throwing numbers out there. But if we go check, we'll see. His #1 spot was based upon $1 billion number. 4 years later, you come back, you recoup the money.
So y'all saying y'all would not get a hair transplant? I find that hard to believe. If you were bald, remember how Adam 22 was balding at first? Hold on. Oh yeah, my assistant has come with another beverage. Good looking out. I mean, if you was looking like this though, hold on. Close out of this. If you was at this point and you had the money and it was nothing to you, you wouldn't go get a hair transplant? I'm in the chat, let me know. Rocket bald, but then you're gonna look like a skinhead. Go bald and do steroids? You rather do steroids than get a hair transplant? No, I'll rock out the skullet for a few months. The skullet is crazy. Y'all funny. If I had stupid money, that's a ride. So Adam 22 is a millionaire. If you were looking like this, if he goes bald with all these tats and just being white also, he's going to look like, and he's in LA, he's going to look like he's gang affiliated. I'm bald, I'll stay bald. Shout out to the bald folks who are bald and confident. It's them boys where they're getting all them no, I think they're getting them in Turkey. Dude got Lisa Simpson on his Facebook worried about his hairline. Facts.
You're like, I want 600 million. Hey, brother, the climate has changed. Your #1 now is showing 700 million, okay? Your #1 spot is at a 700 million number. We gave you 400 million based upon your #1 spot being at $1 billion.
Wavy, you would rather get a Chinese wig instead of a hair transplant? Hair transplant is your actual hair. A wig is like somebody else's.
Everybody's numbers has dropped.
From there, he contradicted his own points, tying himself in knots with his own arguments.
You're mad that the very same things they did to elevate your career
are being used maliciously by the label against him.
So he's supposed to be the only one that reaped the benefits of marketing and promoting.
I think in his mind, yeah.
Well, Aaron said Istanbul is in Turkey. My fault. You right.
That'd be great, yeah.
This is where they said he's a plant.
I thought Istanbul was a country.
Culture. That's right there. Football, pimping, gang banging, may the best man win. Just because it didn't work out for you.
And even when he led with the same K-Bots narrative as his fellow OVO Avengers, he was met with the same response that Drake can only expose these things because he reaped the benefits of it. Payola is older than everyone out here on the internet. Drake is trying to expose something everyone already knows, but he really exposed he's a loser, instead of an artist who can admit when they've been beat. Still, he refuses to back down. In fact, he doubled down and made it clear that he had taken a side when he started pressing a security guard over a PG Lang hat.
Yo, you know you're not just gonna come around with a PG Lang hat on without us cooking you, right? Kendrick head ass. It's all good, man. That's the best thing we got going.
When you consider the age bracket that these individuals are in and who they appeal to audience-wise, there is really no surprise that people like Maul, Adam, and Ak are writing for Drake. But what's way more shocking is that an elite lyricist, who you'd assume would be with K-Dot, is actually intent on endorsing Drake's point of view. A former battle rapper turned podcaster, Matt Hoffa, has really gone hard for Drake.
It's Hoffa. Smack rapper turned smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know it's smack
in a
rappers.
way that he has left his own audience baffled. At first, he rode into the battle for him, and even got offended on his behalf when faced with the argument that if Drake knows this payola and botting scheme goes on, he might have used it to win with previous beefs, such as his war with Meek Mill.
That's you.
But it hasn't always gone so well.
In a nutshell, here's what I think. I'm not debating with you motherfuckers on who won. Fuck who you think won. I give a fuck about. Said both these guys under the same label. The label is not supposed to pick sides. And if you're the guy that's getting the big bag, for some reason they don't like that, so they want to bring down the guy with the big bag. Now Kendrick may have did it on his own merit, with his own hard work, all the records that he.
It's reached the point where he's getting actively trolled and accused of leaving for an interview, only to then bring out hypothetical situations to try to prove his point.
How are we gonna laugh at that? Because what happens when it's a white rapper going against Kendrick?
Attempts to try and rationalize his stance. People are struggling to understand how someone who is entrenched in hip-hop culture like him can be siding with how Drizzy has conducted himself. Matt's trying to get that discount Drake feature. Matt's trying to get some OVO money. Wherever possible, those in support of Drake have attempted to portray.
Because this is like let me go back.
Matt's trying to get that discount Drake feature.
So this is like insult's not the right word. This is like something that people leverage towards me whenever I have an opinion that is like not popular. They're like, oh, you're trying to get some extra money, or I don't know how people think that works. Maybe that's just his actual opinion. Maybe Matt Hoffa is just a Drake fan. The same way you guys love Kendrick, people love Drake that same way. So people will go to the same extent that you go to defend Kendrick to defend Drake. It's like the same evil.
Matt's trying to get some OVO money. Wherever possible, those in support of Drake have attempted to portray the alleged botting and pay for play as if this was the ultimate underhanded tactic by Kendrick. In their estimations, it was an illegal act when Drake was just trying to compete on a level playing field. But this requires them to ignore the testimony of someone like Rob Marksman, a hip-hop journalism legend who claimed
Shout out Markman, Rob Markman.
The OVO team tried to
rap genius.
I'll tell you one further, and I'm gonna be honest, and I haven't said this, and I was approached during the battle by a team connected with the OVO side and asked me to show the boys some love. You know, again, I was being as unbiased as possible. I was calling it like I see it, but
I have these same glasses. These are Ray-Ban. I think they're called Club Masters. I have like these same glasses in two different pairs. They're great glasses, not gonna lie.
We know you're unbiased. Really said it. We know you're unbiased, and we like that you're unbiased and you really try to call it straight. But can you show the guy some love? No, absolutely no money was offered. They kind of offered some things, some information, some access, and said, yo, and we'll make it that you could play his songs in your videos. You know, we'll whitelist it. Ultimately, I declined.
Because they ain't come with that bag. No, I'm just playing. Rob Markman, I've generally view him to be a pretty stand-up guy. Anybody who's a proper journalist, I view to be a stand-up guy. I used to want to be a journalist, but the money wasn't. The money wasn't right. I used to want to be one. Like when I was in high school, I was going to major in journalism. But there's a lot that goes into being a proper, respectable journalist. So anyone who was a journalist, I generally have a bit more respect, I think, because I have higher expectations for them. And if you've done journalism as a profession, I know you have met some type of expectation. So I give that to Rob Markman. I give that to the company, man. Is Jeremy Hecht a journalist? I don't know. I know he works for Hip Hop DX.
You could play his songs in your videos. You know, we'll whitelist it.
H.U.R. Yo, H.U.R. said the realest thing ever. Who the hell gets into a rap battle during contract negotiations? Yo.
Facts.
That's the smartest thing I've heard all week. Who the hell gets into a rap battle during contract renegotiations? That's facts.
Ultimately, Rob refused because he didn't want to sacrifice his professional reputation. And even then, he wasn't really going at Drake. Instead, he just relayed his own experience. But the same can't be said for some other media figures in the game. Because now, every personality that Drake made an enemy of is now using the lawsuit story as a gateway to tear him to shreds. First, there's Charlamagne the God, a man who's had issues with Drake for years and was even insulted by him on Instagram just last year. The Breakfast Club host has been making a mockery of his decision to sue whenever he can.
All I'm saying, Aubrey, is stop acting like you haven't been the beneficiary of record label technology. Okay, you being a whole hoe simply because you lost. Simply because Kendrick Lamar kicked your ass lyrically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And anybody acting like this is anything more than Drake's feelings being hurt, you a hoe too. A OV hoe to be exact.
That boy
And along the way, he's issued warnings to Kendrick about his stadium tour, as once he announced the tour dates, he feels Charlamagne might try and be obstructive in the same way as he had been when Schoolboy Q and Sir tried to play in Toronto in the midst of the beef.
It's gonna be crazy, and we already seen when Rick Ross went there and he played not like us, and he was bopping out to it. What happened to him?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot different with
He
Kendrick.
got
I know it's
socked.
gonna be a lot different. But he's stopping there on the tour on Father's Day weekend.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I would make that stop. You know what I'm saying? Not because of no street stuff either. We know how connected Drake is in Toronto as far as with government officials.
Yeah.
Who else? Like they might just make life difficult for Kendrick on that level. Forget the street stuff. I'm talking about being detained or you can't even trust people.
I don't think that would be smart for Drake, because obviously Kendrick is going to go to Toronto and do his GNX tour. But Kendrick, and imagine how crazy it would be. I don't even want to put this in the atmosphere. Imagine if Kendrick went to Toronto and something happened. That would be insane. And by something, we're not even going to speak that into existence. But imagine, because this is like when Biggie went to LA, in the middle of his beef with Tupac. Well, not in the middle, because Tupac was dead already. But then Biggie's like, or Puff P. Diddy, I'm not about to call this man Puff. Yeah, we don't do that. P. Diddy was like, yo, let's go to LA. Dumbest move ever. Why would you go to LA? But imagine Kendrick goes to Toronto and something happens. The difference is Kendrick doesn't have to stop in Toronto on his tours. He's not from Canada. We have the whole contiguous United States of America. We don't need to stop in Toronto. We don't. Drake has to stop in LA if he wants to tour. He has to stop in California. Now he might be like, we can go to San Francisco and I'll be okay. We'll go to San Diego. It's not okay. Oh, we won't. You're going to stop in LA at least once. Most people stop twice in LA. They go to the House of Blues or just depending on their venue. Drake is way bigger than the House of Blues. He'll probably be doing SoFi or maybe Crypto.com Arena. Kendrick does not have to go to Toronto. Drake has to come to California. So to try to do something to Kendrick while he's in Toronto would just be so foolish, because you have to come to California. And if anything were to happen to Kendrick, we ain't even gonna put that in the air. But just don't do it, because it would be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
The airport. Who can you really trust in Toronto?
Although he has clowned Drake for taking legal action, Rory and Mal have clapped back and claimed that he doesn't have a leg to stand on, considering he's done similar things.
He has been on retainer with Atlantic for, 15 years. So I do understand why his rant exists.
Yeah.
Nobody should try to audit the major labels because they'll see Charlamagne the God as a line item. and on top of that, I think it's funny that somebody is mad at Drake doing ho shit by sending lawsuits, C&Ds, petitions about being called a pedophile, when he has sent C&Ds to people because they were calling him a certified pedophile.
For some other former enemies of Drizzy's, they found the way to be objective when they want and outright offensive at times. The prime example of this is Joe Budden.
Yeah.
As the news of the lawsuit broke, it's fair to say that Budden went pretty hard on Drizzy.
We see what he's doing at the face of adversity. Or he's a selfish, lying, manipulative sack of shit.
Joe Budden saying this is very ironic. Very ironic. We're in the chat real quick. Michelle says, just realizing how chic the black on black is looking. Troy, go you. You like this whole thing? Oh, good looking. I appreciate you. Let me get out the full camera before I start blushing. Appreciate you, Michelle. Sammy said, let me play 50 Cent Mini Men. With Disappointed Me, because I don't know our first felon president. Well, I don't know what you're talking about there. When I watch All the Money, okay, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Aaron said Canada is so safe. Yeah, I've been to Canada once. I've been to Toronto. It's very nice. Toronto's very nice. I don't think nothing will happen to Kendrick. He will have the best security. And when Pusha went there, it was only one guy who threw water at him. I mean, you can have security, but if you get mobbed by like 50 people, like the security can only do so much. I can't look up, but I feel like I saw Kendrick is doing either LA or Toronto around his birthday. Yeah. Troy got his training day leathers on. Yeah, I'm trying to bring back the leathers, man. It's only like a month and a half where I can wear my leather jacket in California, Southern California. It's like only a month and a half every year. So I'm trying to get the most out of it.
Who has made enemies?
It's too hot
for 15
otherwise.
years, and now we're here at the fucking boiling point.
They both could be true.
You've been behind the scenes, being the biggest sack of shit you can possibly be. I'm not here to fucking play games with you niggas. Niggas know what it is out there.
This makes a lot of sense. I've literally devoted an entire video.
The most that would happen is that Kendrick's show would be canceled before it happened. Nothing violent. Yeah, it would be smart for Drake not to even try anything like that on Kendrick. Because if anything were to happen to Kendrick, even if Drake weren't involved, people will look at Drake. If anything happened to Kendrick while he was in Toronto, even if Drake wasn't involved, people would look at him like he was involved. It's a similar thing with Biggie. It's a similar thing with Biggie when he came to LA. Like Tupac was obviously already gone in 97 when Biggie got killed. But people looked at him like he had, or whatever, I don't know the situation. But I would just say don't do it. It like for Drake to even try to organize something against Kendrick while he's in Toronto will be like signing your own death note. Because Drake, you have to come to California. You have to. And all them places where them celebrities be living, Hidden Hills, Calabasas. Well, I guess they don't live in Pacific Palisades anymore, do they? Because that just got all burnt down. But all those places up the 405, up into the hills and all that, it's like if there were no traffic, you can get there in like 25 minutes from the hood, from like Crenshaw and Slauson. There was but there's never no traffic. It's like a 2-hour drive at most, man. Our TDE artists getting their shows canceled because of Drake. Yeah, Schoolboy Q got a show canceled in Toronto. And let me pull that up. And then Inglewood Sir, he got a show canceled in Toronto. Schoolboy Q, Toronto, show canceled. Here we go. And Schoolboy Q actually made a response. Schoolboy Q was like, all right, if that's how we playing, if that's how we doing it, you gonna cancel my show in Toronto. If that's what we doing, don't be mad when we start playing ball too. Then you guys already know where Schoolboy Q is from. I mean, why does he spell his name like this? Well, you know, with the capital H. I mean, if you know, you know. We ain't gonna get into that. Yeah, they just canceled my show in Toronto. Canadian police don't want nobody from TDE performing. Top was just with Wayne and Baby, shaking my head. Party Mac Next Door just had a show at the Palladium. Notice how he's capitalizing every H. The Palladium is in Hollywood, I think. I'm pretty sure it's in Palladium. Pretty sure the Palladium is in Hollywood, right? Palladium, LA. I think I've been to a show. Yeah, the Hollywood Palladium. He's saying, yo, Drake, your artist, Party Next Door, he just had a show at the Palladium. If we wanted to get y'all, we would have just did it. Now, when somebody get hurt, don't cry. So Schoolboy Q is saying, if that's how y'all playing, don't be mad when we play the same way. Because Party Next Door was just at the Palladium in Hollywood. Now, if you're not from California, Hollywood is like nothing spectacular. I guarantee you've been to more magnificent cities in Hollywood. He was just, Party Next Door was just there. No one did anything to him. So why are y'all trying to do stuff when we go to Toronto? Okay, if that's how you playing, keep that same energy. That was a venue, Michelle says, that was at a venue Drake is part owner in, which is why he can cancel. Okay. It's not the narrative. It's not the same, bro. The narrative why Big died was blood for blood. Fair. I actually don't know too much about Biggie's and all that. So I'll grant you that. HUR said, if nothing happened to Adam 22, what makes you think something's going to happen to Drake? I won't even comment on that. I would say if anything happens to Kendrick while he's in Toronto, stay away from Southern California for a while, Drake, a couple years. Stay Blessed says, now that I think about it, Drake could have brushed off like that and would have been better than he is now. Unfortunately, I'm glad he did, yeah. I think the reason why Drake felt like he could jump out the window with like that is because how J. Cole jumped out. Because remember, J. Cole responded first. He was the first one to really throw a direct shot at anybody. And then when J. Cole backed out, it's kind of puts Drake on the spot like, okay, so what are you going to do? That's LA culture. LA rise for LA. Yeah, and the Bay too. Like the Bay, shout out to the Bay. I got a lot of love for the Bay. I lived out in the Bay for a while. Lived in Oakland near Lake Merritt. I went to school in San Francisco for a minute. The Bay is arguably more active. Yo, the Bay is like your bad cousin. When your bad cousin comes to sleep over to spend the night, and they just bad as hell, but they're fun though. It's always fun. You always want them to come over, but you always get me. I don't even get in this much trouble on a regular basis. Every time my bad cousin come, I'm in trouble. That's how I see the Bay. We shall not feel sad for the richest real estate because we're handicapped rolling. So I think you're talking about Palisades. I actually do feel sad for Palisades though. So yeah, only the richest people live in Pacific Palisades, but I'm not gonna gloss over their livelihoods being burnt down. Like, that's crazy.
Hate between these two. So it should be expected that when Drake is down, Joe might take a swipe, but he's capable of seeing his side of the coin too. And recently, he cast aside the narrative that he couldn't do a stadium tour.
I'm not going to say that Drake is not, what are we talking about, Stadium act. Let's deal with facts. He hasn't done one yet.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's why we.
If the did 6 shows straight at Madison Square Garden,
Yeah.
I don't know what it looks like. If he tries to do a stadium tour, 1, and 2, I don't know that he's just trying to circumvent the fees that come along with stadium tours. I don't know. Again, above my pay grade. But it is a flex that Kendrick is doing stadium tours 1. And
this is like Drake's about to go to play paintball. He's about to go play paintball guns. What is that called? I ain't went to paintball in a while. Now that I say that, I'm gonna have to go do that paintball.
Doing the stadium in Toronto.
Above all, if there's one thing that those in the media who aren't rolling with Drake can agree on, it's that the lawsuit just isn't a good look. While there is a possible argument that he's doing it over financial foul play and not the beef, it seems like he's struggling to get a lot of industry insiders to believe that's the real motivation.
He doesn't get more money. Let's just assume that. But to go as far as this lawsuit goes and claims, to me says, hey, Drake, you know what this label is capable
Michelle
of.
makes a good point. If Drake wouldn't have responded to like that, I don't think Kendrick will be outside like this. We've never gotten this much music this soon. I agree. And this is like a critique I would make about Kendrick. Obviously, whenever I critique Kendrick, it's like people go insane. You're not a real fan. I'm not a fan. I'm not fanatical about anybody. But I would be like, this is not normal to just have 5-year gaps in between your albums like this. And it's not even normal for Kendrick. Kendrick, if you guys were Kendrick fans in the early 2010s, for most of Kendrick's career, he dropped every single year. Kendrick used to be on social media with us, just typing away. I don't think if the whole Drake thing happened, we for sure would have not got GNX. I don't think we would have ever gotten an album like that from Kendrick. A non-conceptual album with a bunch of street guys from LA trying to unite. Kendrick, he doesn't make albums like that. So if you want to congratulate Drake for one thing, yo, Drake, thank you for bringing Kendrick back outside. Because the last time we got Kendrick music like this, Watch the Party Die, we got all them diss tracks, then we got Watch the Party Die, then we got the GNX album, then we got a tour. And because of the success of the album, we got halftime shows and we got the tour. We're going to have merch. I bought the GNX. Did you guys buy the GNX vinyl? I don't know. Maybe I need to put this up here. They were doing pre-orders. I don't know if it's still up. Get on down. Oh, yeah. I already got my pre-order in. It doesn't ship until February. But because of Drake, we got all this. I agree with Michelle in the chat. We would be like going on year 3 of no Kendrick music. The last Kendrick music we would have is Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Where's my academics?
Facts.
That's facts. Saying how Cole was weak. apologizing to die. I'm on. We trying to find a good chat. Who talking crazy? I know people be talking crazy in my comments. Where y'all at during the live stream though? Don't just come. I'm live, so I'm gonna be able to read everybody's stuff. Bynum said Kendrick been waiting on this though. Yeah, I don't want any violence. I don't want any violence though. Like, I just love hip hop, and his hiatus was definitely a plot to take down Drake. I don't think so. I don't think Kendrick was plotting to take down Drake during that break between Mr. Morale and now. I don't believe that personally. You could be right though. He explained his absence in family ties, and I remember Top saying several times, y'all don't deserve no new Kendrick. Yeah, Top has always been very bad. Top Dog, to like TDE, has always been very bad communicating with fans. And Punch is too. Punch is like not the same. Top Dog, like if you were on Twitter like in the early 2010s, Top Dog is terrible at communicating with fans. Like, you got to go watch my old TDE videos. I'll break all this down. I think I have a video called, let me at least stop telling y'all to stop, to just go watch them and give you an actual video to go watch. TDE downfall after the live stream. Go watch this. Because I bring up specific instances. Top, we love you for starting TDE, for giving these guys a chance, but he was not the greatest at talking to fans. That's a nice way to say it, right? Honestly, when I see Kendrick, I see wasted potential. What? I hate when people say quality over quantity to explain Dot's gaps. If you're an OG fan, he used to be outside. Really, there's one specific gap that we've referenced, which is the gap between the Damn album, 2017, and then Mr. Morale, 2022. That's really the only big gap. Other than, there is like a gap between Good Kid, Mad City, and To Pimp a Butterfly. But I don't think it reached, it was almost on 3 years, but he dropped it like at 2.5 years. This whole Kendrick not dropping album stuff is recent, which is why I surmise like something is wrong in TDE. That's why I did this video right here. Downfall TDE. Like there's something wrong because Kendrick drops an album every year, every 2 years. I was shocked by how bouncy Not Like Us was. I would have never thought. Yeah, Mustard on the beat, man. I think the battle brought something out of K-Dot. I do think K-Dot has been waiting to take out Drake. I do think there was a little bit of something there where he wanted to do that. I agree with that. Let me get to the end of the video, then I'll get to the rest of the chats.
That's right. And likely they have used these tactics on your behalf. Indeed. Which also is this button.
Congratulations, you played yourself. Right, because why would you jump to that unless you know the inside game of how your label moves?
Despite what his battalion of supporters may say, his latest moves are seen as a massive backfire. And while his initial concern was over his brand being devalued, there are many people who believe he's now liable to miss out on even more cash by how outing himself like this and running to a lawyer in the midst of a beef is perceived by hip-hop at large. And this isn't limited to those in the rap game. Even Stephen A. Smith felt the need to reveal how much his ploy had reflected badly on him and elevated Dot.
Inadvertently boosting Kendrick Lamar's streams. The legal filings which accused UMG of artificially boosting the popularity of Kendrick's diss track, Not Like Us, through streaming bots and payola, have resulted in a massive 440% increase in the song's sales.
And what's even crazier is that he's even acknowledged that he got under his skin.
I understand that Drake's a bit sensitive in these times. And don't ask me how, but I know that he has seen this show. And I know that he has seen some of the things that I have said about him on this show.
Through it all, he's clarified his position because unlike the likes of Charlemagne, Joe, and even Ebro, Stefan's analysis was nothing personal. He was just calling it how he sees it. And his
that's what I'll be trying to do, honestly. It's never nothing personal.
Conclusion was that this was a big gamble from Drizzy that hasn't paid off.
To Drake, the artist extraordinaire, I did not say or echo a single negative thing about you. You're a phenomenal artist.
Before the video ends, I gotta address Sami in the live chat. You guys know I never ban anybody. I never delete comments, people's comments. But Sami, I gotta say, Sami has very little remorse, or remorse is the right word, right? Condolences for the people in Pacific Palisades whose house is burnt down. Pacific Palisades is, when people are saying LA is on fire, I was in LA like 2 days ago. Like LA is not, the whole LA is not on fire. It's a specific part. And the main part that really burnt down is Pacific Palisades. I would say this, Sami. I know you get it. You don't have remorse for these people because they're celebrities or they're rich. But Yeah, you say, don't you have credit cards and credit? Line it up. Why are you complaining when you have secondary houses? You just mad because your views has been burnt. I would just say quickly, because we're going to finish this video right here. Also note that insurance companies have stopped, as of last year, they stopped insuring those houses in that area, like 70% of them in Pacific Palisades, according to what I saw. Insurance companies have stopped insuring them because California state laws have made it so insurance companies cannot raise their premiums for high-risk areas. So obviously, if you live in an area that's prone to fire, flood, you are going to have to pay higher for insurance because you live in those areas. So this could be you, depending on where you live. You might live in an area that's prone to natural disasters. Now, obviously, you have people like Dennis Quaid, Janae Aiko. They lived past tense in Pacific Palisades. They don't anymore, obviously. Dennis Quaid, Janae Aiko, but also there are just also hardworking people who became doctors, who became engineers. And California is likely going to lose all of those people because it was the state government who made it to where insurance companies won't cover those houses. So those people have effectively lost everything, not just the house, everything in it. Think of everything in your house. Imagine losing all of it, pets, everything. And they're not going to get it back. They're not going to have any recourse for it. So I would just say extend a little bit of remorse, because everyone there is not like how you think they are.
You're big time. What I said was fact. Not like us got you. I even pointed out how the line about accusing you of being a pedophile, ain't nobody paying attention to that. They just think it's lyrics, bars being dropped, and he got the better of you. What I'm saying is, you don't go the lawyer route in hip hop over something like this. You take it to the studio. You take it to the streets. That's all I said.
Whatever side a media personality is on with this beef, it ultimately benefits them to discuss it when it comes to viewing figures. Because just as the beef made Not Like Us one of the biggest tracks of the year, it's also been a windfall for these commentators who know that speaking about it is going to get them plenty of clicks. If you wanted to hear more about Drake's lawsuit and how the world feels about it, peep the video on the screen.
Another great video by Loesta. Yo, we need the people to subscribe. Shout out to my chat fools. We got to think of a chat. What's a good name for my subscriber base? I know Company Man has the analysts. Deleted has the villains. What's a good name for my fan? I don't want to call y'all fans. For my peoples. Maybe just my peoples. I appreciate all my peoples in the chat. I appreciate those not in the chat. Just subscribe. Hit subscribe. As long as you hit subscribe, we are good to go. Like the video. We'll read what Sami has to say in response to what I just said. We'll read the other chats. And by the way, if you guys, I don't think like my regular people want to hear me continue to go on and on about the what's the dirt. There was a super chat earlier where someone wanted me to talk about that. Because they sent the super chat, they sent that bag. I will talk about it if other people want me to talk about it. Like, I'm not going to subject you guys to this because most people don't care. If you guys would like me to, I think there's like a Nile Ross video. You can let me know in the chat. If not, it's completely cool. I'll leave it up to like my core people who are here every week to let me know. But let's respond to Sami. Sami says, Altadena, I understand FEMA Palisades. Don't you have credit card? We already read that. There's a whole bunch of LA County zip codes. Realize the zip code that you are contributing to in this fire, asking Drake for their help. Sami, where are you from? It does not appear that you, and we appreciate you, but it does not appear you are a native English speaker, which is completely fine. There's a bunch of people like that in America. It's fine. But I'm just going to ask that you proofread the message before you send it so that way I can respond accurately to what you're saying. Let me try to make it out. There's a bunch of LA County zip codes. Realize the zip code that you are contributing to in this fire, asking Drake for their help. If you will kindly restate that. I'm going to try to find Sami's other messages. Academics fire department didn't protect, although. I just don't know the top fivers. Yeah, that's a good name. I'm trying my best, Sami. I'm trying my best. You guys say the top fivers is a good name? Top fivers? Okay. There can only be 5 top fivers, right? Toppers is crazy, right? Toppers is crazy work, right? Do not call us the toppers. I'll have to think of something. The contrarians. I just call y'all smart people. So here's the thing, right? Sami, you are respected, though. I respect your opinion. If you want to respond, you can respond. It's fine. Just proofread what you're saying before you say it. That way I haven't actually been able to respond to your subsequent messages because they're just hard to read. Just proofread it if you can. Go to some AI, tell them put this in plain English. Or post it in your native language and I'll translate it. Post, Sami, if you're if English is not your native language, post your message in your native language and I'll translate it and respond. But other than that, what do you guys want? Do you guys want me to, let me go up to the super chat that I got okay, yeah, they don't actually have a name. I wish you guys could see what I'm saying. If I could put this in y'all, I can't put it in y'all window though. But Nile Ross, this is what the super chat said. Nile Ross is explaining to you what the culture means for the rest of us. That's why I was asking if you watched it regarding the what's the dirt situation. So this is the question to the people in the chat, and I'll let you guys decide how the rest of this show goes. Do you want me to speak about this situation again or not? And I'll leave it to the chat, but I'll really leave it to the people who are here every week. Zero said we want a Discord. Zero, you've said that before. If enough people request a Discord, I'll learn how to use it. But enough people have to request it. STR said it doesn't matter. Hudson says the leaderboards. So it's a pretty good name. Respond to Nile Ross. Troy, he had a great direct response to your culture question, and it was very respectful. Okay. Michelle says yes, so that's one. Do you think GNX will age to be considered a classic album by majority of people? Normally I would say no, but a lot of normal people, majority of people consider Damn Kendrick's best album. If you talk to normal people, the most songs they know from Kendrick are off of Damn, DNA, Loyalty. So I wouldn't put it, if you tell them for the majority, I wouldn't put it past them to consider GNX a classic. HUR said, what was the question? You got to tap in. Honestly, I didn't see you respond to it, but whatever, you earned my respect when you mentioned Ka. Yeah, shout out to Ka. I would like to see it because you are a central figure in what happened after I would like to see it because you are a central figure in what happened after your live stream. What did Nile say? Okay, so you guys want to, okay, so let's do the Nile Ross. Usually I try to get y'all out of here in an hour. Well, we'll do the Nile Ross, man. We'll do the small channel. Go subscribe to him. Where are we? So which video is it? Which video do you guys want me to do? By Nile Ross. Again, so go subscribe to Brody's channel. 3K, I remember when I had 3K. It wasn't long ago. It was probably like a year and a half ago I had 3K. Which video is it by Nile Ross? Let me know. The board leaders, what? Fivers, okay. I think top fivers is what we're going with, right? Top fivers. Sami says, I loved you in that hoodie. Such a beautiful, okay. So Sami, on one hand, you are disrespecting my fellow Los Angeles, and on the other hand, you're flirting with me. This is insane. Salute to Sami though. It's all love though. I've been listening to Kendrick for just as long as Troy. Yeah, I think I put all you guys on Kendrick in high school back then. I firmly believe GNX is a classic. Sub up, like-minded black creators. Yeah, sub up. I'll only subscribe to Nile if the video we're about to watch is good. So all you guys are saying watch the video by Nile Ross, but then I ask you which video is it, and then nobody respond. Which video is it? It would help if he put me on the thumbnail. Being a guest is the video. Okay. Oh, being a guest. Oh, this is a long one. Okay, here. Okay, I'm in this video. Do I need to do the whole thing, or should I just do like the part that I'm in? Let's go. So I'll preface it by saying this, since we're doing this, and subscribe. I'm sure most of you subscribe, but we got lurkers. Just hit subscribe because we're going overtime today. I'll preface it by saying this, right? Before I do this. Remember the question that I posed. My last live stream, they got a lot of people. What's the good way to say it? My last live stream last week was quite controversial to some. I don't know why it was controversial. But just remember the question I posed. I always pose this question. The question is, why? What do you mean when you use certain terms? Because everyone seems to have a different terminology for certain terms. That's like my only thing. I ask people, what does the culture mean? The culture. One person said culture means suffering. One person said culture means urban culture. I said, I only know one definition of culture based on a college anthropology class that I took. So I could be using a different, outdated definition for the word culture. But everyone had a different definition for what the culture meant. So I asked, what do you mean by the culture? The last live stream was unintentionally, it really wasn't controversial because I wasn't attacking anybody. Shout out to Sami in the chat. People in other countries give miracles, not for people. Yo, shout out to Sami. Everyone still loves you regardless. Shout out to you. Hit subscribe and like the video. So I actually want to lead with this, right? Before I get into this, I want to lead with this. This is a video by Asmon Gold. This is like one of the few channels that I actually watch on YouTube. I try to see most of his videos. I was watching this video and it said something that resonated with me right here. Before we get into the Nile Ross video.
To be as fair and critical.
And I felt this way too.
I view this as a responsibility. I try to be as fair.
So I don't view my YouTube channel as a responsibility, by the way. I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about the part after it. Right here.
Responsibility. I try to be as fair and critical
Right.
as I can be and authentic.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes this rubs people the wrong way.
Yeah.
People don't like what my opinions are.
Facts.
That's fine. But at the end of the day, I will do my best to be as authentic as possible.
So yeah, I feel exactly that way. I'll play that one more time. Then we'll get into the Nile Ross.
Responsibility. I try to be as fair and critical as I can be and authentic. Now, sometimes this rubs people the wrong way.
Yeah.
People don't like what my opinions are.
Right.
That's fine. But at the end of the day, I will do my best to be as authentic as possible.
That's right. Sometimes people don't like my opinions, and it's fine, but they're my opinions. So I'm going to say top tiers if we argue with anyone. The issue people had was you saying What's the Dirt was a part of the culture because you knew a lot about it. That irked me. I won't lie. That's fine. Troy, please read my last comment before you get offline. Okay, let's read that right now. Aaron says, well, we're going to watch the some of this, right? So we're not off just yet. Aaron said, I can't define what the culture means, but one example I can think of is when Fantano listened to Absol's intro on Soul Burger and had no idea it was an ode to the movie Belly's intro. And I actually mentioned this in my last live stream, or the live stream before that. We were reacting to a What's the Dirt video. And there was a point where he was reacting to something Kendrick said, and Kendrick was like, yo, 95% of the people, like Kendrick was reciting 5% nation knowledge. And I was like, oh, that is what I mean. Like, to me, that is like the definition of culture. Because if you're not in the Black Islam culture, you're not going to catch that little nuance. What's the dirt hurt? The 95, 85% bar, whatever it was. And was like, yo, I hear people say stupid stuff like this all the time. But I was like, I don't expect What's the Dirt to know that because he's not he's not in the Nation of Islam and he's not in that community. So that is a cultural piece where you can say, you're not from the culture. You're not from this culture, so we don't expect you to get it. Right? But hip hop at large. But let's see what Nile Ross has to say.
What's good, everybody?
If this is boring, everyone who recommended this gets banned. If this is boring, you get banned and blocked. So I'm talking. No, I'll just play.
Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a great kick start for the new year.
Subscribe to this man.
And all that good stuff. So I wanted to kick off this year by doing a video response to Top 5 Troy's question about who is considered from the culture. You know, and this video is not like a diss video or anything like that to anyone really. I'm definitely not Top 5 Troy.
Salute.
General, I got like.
Oh, we got a reasonable person in the chat. Wow. Oh, let me subscribe. Oh, he's reasonable. Everybody go subscribe immediately.
Mad love for this guy, especially he's like an up and coming YouTuber. We share similar views on a lot of topics. Shout out to him just for, you know, I think this is a good opportunity like that creates a conversation, you know, and I wanted to really make this video to maybe shed some light on things that people might not know about or understand. And just simply to answer his question as if I was on the live, you know, and so it was a live video that he was doing. He was broadcasting something, and I'll just go ahead and play.
So before he plays it, should I define what I mean when I say from the culture? Hold on, let's go to top5rapwebsite.com. I guess I should subscribe. I not subscribe. I'm so used to saying top5rapwebsite.com. Be sure to subscribe. I just said subscribe right now. I guess I should define what I mean. If I say someone's not from the culture in reference to just generally hip hop, if I were to weaponize that, I would basically be saying you're not black. That's what I would mean. But I wouldn't preface it with, I wouldn't disguise it with saying you're not from the culture. I would just say you're not black. You know what I really respect? And I'm going all over the place, but I swear it's all related. I respect this tweet by ASAP Yams. I just hate when people dress stuff up in a way that is inauthentic. I respect this tweet, even though I don't agree with it, by ASAP Yams. ASAP Yams, RIP, said, I hate white hip hop heads. No offense, I just don't like y'all. And although I don't hate white hip hop heads, anyone who knows hip hop and has studied it and is knowledgeable about it, I respect you actually, no matter what color you are. But ASAP Yams then come out and was like, yo, the culture and I'm from the culture and the culture, you're not from the culture. No, he just said the white people, I don't fuck with you. I have no reason. I just don't like you. I have no reason. Don't try to logically break this down. I hate white hip hop heads. That's it. So if I saw ASAP Yams say this, I could counter by saying, well, that's racist or whatever. But there's no need for me to get into this logical debate with him because he's put it out there what his stance is. Clearly, his stance is very clear. I respect that a lot more than this culture stuff. So when I say if I were to say someone's not from the culture, it would be in reference to being black. That's really the only way I would use that if it were like in my vernacular. It just depends on how I'm using it. So I actually did this list, and I actually thought this list used to be called Top Projects from the Culture. Then I changed it because I just started to dislike that word. This is 2016. What did I mean when I made a top 32 projects from the culture? I meant that these are the best albums that came out in 2016 by black musicians from the culture. This is what I meant when I made this, before the whole culture word got overused. So usually my list is going to be mostly rappers, YG, Chance the Rapper, but then there's also Kaytranada. So I can't call it top rap albums because I've got Kaytranada on there, I've got No Name Gypsy on there, I've got Frank Ocean on there. I've got Fonte and Eric Roberson. I might have Blood Orange on there. So these are essentially the top projects from 2016 from Black people. I thought it was still called From the Culture, but you can see I put For the Culture in the subheader. That's what I meant when I made this. So if I'm saying like From the Culture in reference to hip hop, which you'll probably never hear me say that. Like nowadays. Because the term is it's mixed up. It's all mixed it up and shit. When I used to use it, I'm referencing Black people. This is my list of top albums from Black people. They're all not one genre, but they're all Black. And there's Mac Miller too. And there's Mac Miller too. But they're Black people. So that's how, I don't know. Let's get to it.
I'll just play the video.
This is where the whole culture thing comes in. I'll be very brief on that. That's me. Y'all know how I feel about the word culture and all that. Like, it's just an overused joint. I don't understand how anyone can say what's the dirt's not from the culture when he knows so much about hip hop. So now when I use culture, From the Culture, right? In terms of hip hop nowadays, if you are studied in hip hop and you know about hip hop, like someone like Professor Sky, Bob the Pop-Off, these are YouTube channels. Someone will just have to define, there's a difference between saying you're from it or are you a part of it. If someone is completely submersed in hip hop culture, which is not necessarily all of Black culture, it's hip hop culture. It's not just all of Black culture. I wouldn't use that, the way I used to use the term, I wouldn't use it the same way now. Back then, that's how I was using the term. Black people, and then Mac Miller. But nowadays, if you are submersed and knowledgeable of hip hop culture, to me, you're part of the culture. Someone will have to break that down to me. Yeah. He knows a lot about hip hop. I even recently told him, like, bro, I would like to see this reflected in your channel. Like, you know a lot. But if you look at the channel, it would just seem it's mostly Kendrick and Drake. But I mean, that's the algorithm. If you want to be successful at YouTube, you do these things. This is why he has 300 plus K and I have 15K. I'll be all over the place. I got 16K now. Yo, I had 15K at the time. I got 16K. We got 1,000 subscribers in 1 week. Despite the controversy, it is what it is. He's working algorithm. Y'all got to help define that culture thing for me. Because when someone knows so much about hip hop, I don't understand how you can say they're not from the culture. So maybe y'all got to define, maybe we just have different definitions. Yeah, so maybe you guys are saying there's a difference between being from it and a part of it. So maybe I could have said that better, right? What from the culture means. I'm going to try. I'm going to try. I missed a lot of chats.
And his question, shout out to him. And yeah, we might have different definitions of culture. I'll do my best to break it down. And if we have the same definition, then we'll be on the same page. If not, then let me know, bro. But yeah, so in general, I agree that the word culture is overused, 100%. You know, it's confusing. It seems everyone just screams.
Yes, Craig Russ says, deleted explains culture perfectly at the end of his last video. The issue I have is not people being able to explain what culture means to them. My issue is everyone has a different definition. We can Google culture and get a definition. My thing is everyone has a different definition. And it's weaponized in a way that's exclusionary. That's my only thing.
The word culture for the culture. What about the culture? You know, yeah. And it really just makes hip hop almost like a harvest group, you know, where vultures can come and pick at whatever pieces they like, claim it as culture,
yeah,
and then leave the scraps pretty much.
Sure.
You know, so I completely agree with Troy with that word, you know, culture being kind of played out. You know, and so to me, what that means is we need to delineate the
Well, before he responds, in the chat, post what you mean by culture. What is the culture as it relates to hip hop, though? Just as it relates to hip hop, what does culture mean to you? I swear to, no, we ain't gonna swear to God. I swear. No one's going to post the exact same definition. What does culture mean to you? Culture. Leslie says, I don't care if they drown themselves in it. If you're not black, Leslie says, if you're not black, you're not from the culture. Okay, so Leslie, what about being a part of the culture? As it relates to hip hop. When I use culture here, it's as it relates to hip hop. What about a part? So, okay, so they're not from it. What about a part of it? And also, Leslie, what would you say about the Hispanics, the Puerto Ricans who were early in the, we won't say the creation stage, but the Puerto Ricans and the Hispanics who were essential to the breakdancing aspect of hip hop? Because hip hop is what? B-boying, which is breakdancing, DJing, graffiti, and rapping. So the people who are not black, who were helping us build that foundation, they're not from the culture either. My white friend knows more hip hop than I do, but I doesn't see why he shouldn't be able to use N-word. That's completely different. The weaponizing of the word has become cringe. It's an overused term that people now use to move the goalposts and posture over others. That's literally exactly how I feel. Culture is the Black American experience. Sure, okay. That's fine. But notice how actually, Black Attack and Leslie, you guys didn't have different definitions, so I'll give you that. No one knows. A discussion about culture requires context. Michelle says the Black American culture. The intellectual / creative output of a people, says Ryan. Too many people being helicopter parents of the culture and aren't ready for a conversation about the different people who have helped build the culture. Facts. That's why I just asked what I asked about the people who helped build hip hop. Not created, but who helped it along the way. All I know is I've listened to hip hop since I could pick my own music. Everything else is what it is. Cultural is too big because Southern Black hip hop culture is different than West Coast hip hop culture. That's what I'm saying. So my thing is this, right? If you are immersed in the culture, you're not in hip hop, you're knowledgeable about it, I consider you a part of the culture. Maybe that's one thing I could have said different, because I said I would think you're from it. Maybe you guys, but I don't think you guys' hang up is on me saying from versus a part. If you are immersed in hip hop, you know about it. You know the origins. You know, like, you are knowledgeable about it, past and present, and you have taken the time to study. To me, you're a part of it. You may not be from it, but you're a part of it. So to weaponize the word against someone because they're not black, to me is wrong. To me, but we all have different definitions. Now, you can say you're not from it, cool, but then that leads to another conversation. They're not from it, but does that mean they can't have an opinion on it? Because there are black people who don't know about hip hop. Keep it a bean. Let me let this man speak, though. Oh, snap. What happened to my sound? My sound, is the sound working for y'all? Me plug in, plug out. Maybe that's the universe telling me, don't react to this. I can't. Can y'all hear that? I can't hear that. Maybe it's my headphones. Give me a second. For now, I'll look in the chat. While we troubleshoot, I'll look in the chat. Maybe I need to refresh it. Somehow this is Kendrick's fault. Well, Kendrick said I'm with the culture feeling. So, I mean, I think that just got people to using a word any type of ways. Yeah, I can't hear that. Maybe it's my headphone. Maybe I switch headphones. Yeah, I can't hear that at all. Let me try to use a different headphone. Give me a second. We gotta bring out the big boys. Yeah, no sound. I know. I'll bring out the big boys. Maybe that's the universe saying, dead this conversation. We in a chat though. In all, it's been proven time and time again, you cannot study hip hop and fully understand it. You have to live it. It's a lie. There are people who live it and don't understand it. Someone once defined the culture to me as urban culture. The culture, urban. But what about black people who, I said that literally, I'm just repeating what I said in the live stream. What about black people who don't grow up in urban areas? Like, who grow up and they're not allowed to listen to hip hop? Are they not from the culture? To me, I would say no. You don't know nothing about hip hop. You're not from hip hop culture. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I think this is a part of it. Fix our output, input. Let's see. See how that works. Can y'all hear that?
I wanted to.
Yeah, you guys should be able to hear that. Oh man, I'm a troubleshooting IT person. Let's get to it.
And pick at whatever pieces they like, claim it as.
I'm in
culture,
IT.
And then leave.
I'm in
scratch,
tech.
Pretty much. You know, so I completely agree with Troy with that word, you know, culture being kind of played out, you know? And so to me, what that means is we need to delineate the word. It's confusing as hell when people just say culture. Like, okay, what culture? There's subcultures within cultures.
Yeah.
There's the American culture.
Yeah.
We got, like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
You know? And so, so I decided I'm going to personally do my best.
Turn it
to
up.
Call it Black American culture, especially when I'm referring
It's up.
to hip hop. As we know, hip hop is rooted in Black American culture.
True.
Completely, you know, dating back to even before the 80s and 90s. You know, when I think about rapping.
Yo, this is turned up. This guy's just talking like super low.
Some people want to say, oh, it came from Jamaica. No, it didn't. It came from Black Americans here.
On a wind and town, head to and stop still and listen to me. God walked down to the Brandy Sea. He declared that he was a sinful man, and then he decided to destroy the land. He spoke to
Yeah, Queen's native said louder, bro. This is up. This guy's just talking low. This is as loud as it goes.
He said, Noah, I want you to build me an ark. I want you to build it 3 cubits long. I want you to build it big and strong. I want it 20 high and 50 wide, so it will stand the wind and tide is
I'm personally going to do my best to say Black American culture, or I'll say ADOS culture or ADOS culture, you know, which stands for.
So now he already just defined it. He said, I'm going to say Black American culture. So I don't even need to watch the rest of this, but we'll watch another couple minutes. His definition of hip hop culture, the culture is Black American culture, or African descendants of slaves culture.
For American descendants of slavery, coined by Antonio Moore, Yvette Carnell, from the ADOS Advocacy Foundation. You know, I think ADOS is super specific. You know, it's about the people whose lineage ties back to the institution of chattel slavery, which really built the wealth of this country, and we can connect all of our stories back to those roots.
Put closed captions on.
Anyway,
Okay.
ADOS or Black American, I might say it interchangeably, but it's the same thing when I say it. So with that being said, I'm going to do my best to break down what it means to be from the culture, you know, specifically Black American culture.
Yeah, he's already defined it. From the culture, he's already like defined it low key. Black American culture.
Why? What's the dirt? Despite his knowledge of hip-hop.
Yeah, if hip hop is not from Black, we don't. I mean, you can look at Matt and say, okay, you're not Black, but I define hip hop culture, the culture. I define it differently as it relates to hip hop. If you're immersed in it, to me, this is my definition, hip hop. If you're immersed in it, you're knowledgeable about it, you studied it, you are from it. So by my definition, there are Black people, ADOS, African descendants of slaves, who are not from hip hop culture, according to my definition. There are Black people who are not a part of it. You don't know about hip hop. So how can you be a part of hip hop culture? You don't know anything about it. Not just the rapping. You don't know anything about the 4 pillars. You don't know anything about hip hop. So according to my definition, and we all have our own definitions, you're not from it. Like when I said earlier, there are Black people who grew up in the suburbs, because someone once described, probably last live stream, they described the culture as urban culture. And firstly, I was like, you can't define culture and then use the word culture in your definition. But then after that, I was like, there are Black people who are from suburbia. The suburbs are the opposite of urban. There are Black people from suburbia who are not even allowed to listen to hip hop as kids, so they don't grow up on it. Are they from the culture? To me, no. You don't know about hip hop. You're black, yes. You're from black American culture. You know what it means to be black in this country, but you don't know about hip hop. I'm trying not to cuss. We got sponsors, man. That's my definition, though. This man has his own definition.
You know, it's not part of it. You know, culture in this context isn't about knowing a lot per se. It's about lived experience. It's about lineage, and it's about respect, you know, for the people who created it and who are sustaining it. And so, you know, knowing about hip hop doesn't equate to living the reality.
January Kid said, is Vlad TV a part of the culture? According to my definition, yes. Vlad TV, and this is no offense to the people in the chat, Vlad TV knows more about hip hop than like 50+% of the people in the chat. Vlad TV probably knows as much about hip hop as I do. He's from Oakland or the Bay, one of those. I don't know if he's from Oakland, the Bay. Vlad TV is a pillar in the hip hop community. Vlad TV is one of the most essential media conglomerates to ever exist in hip hop. Vlad TV is one of the most essential media platforms. I wouldn't say essential because hip hop doesn't need him, but Vlad TV is one of the most primary hip hop platforms in hip hop history. Let me give y'all some history on my channel. I once done a video. This was my first big video. The first big video I ever had that actually did more than like a couple hundred views is DJ Vlad a Culture Vulture. It's 8 years ago. Really, it's probably more like 10. When did I post this? What year? I think it was like 2016. If you don't know who DJ Vlad, Troy Media. This is before Top 5 Rap or Top 5 Troy. 2016. Now, I actually never answer this question. I'm just posing it to the audience. I never answered the question. And DJ Vlad, I'm pretty sure I'm still blocked by Vlad, right? I'm blocked by DJ Vlad because of this video. Okay, I'm not blocked anymore. That's what's up. Oh, no, I am blocked. I am blocked. I was going to say, because usually if you're blocked, you can't see what they post. But I think Twitter changed the rules. But I'm blocked because of this video from 2016. I never called him a culture vulture. It's just literally just a title. But to your question, yes, I would consider DJ Vlad. Of course, DJ Vlad is a part of hip hop culture. Of course.
Birthed it. You know,
he's not. Is he from it? I don't know how he grew up. But of course, DJ Vlad is a part of hip hop culture.
It's kind of like reading tons of books
Walmart.
About, marathons, but never actually running a marathon.
You have to break up your rhythm. Like this.
Now that's interesting because in the film books I've studied, the anthropologists say in order to properly sound like you actually have to. Never mind. Please keep going.
So what's the
Queens native says, I don't know, I can read a bunch of medical books and be super knowledgeable about medical stuff. Am I from the medical culture? I don't even think people in medicine use that terminology, the medical culture. So I don't know if that's, that's not a good analogy, Queens native, respectfully. I can know everything about my stepson, but it don't make me the father. But there's Black Attack, there's a definitive relationship there. You can play father, but you're never someone's actual father. There's like a bloodline, provable lineage. There's nothing provable to what the culture, who's a part of the culture and who's not. Like you can just go prove if someone's your dad or not. You can't just prove. Like if you ask someone, what does a father mean? We're all going to have the same definition. What does being someone's father mean? It means they're your son. It's by blood. I mean, you need to speak on why What's the Dirt feels that all black people. I'll say the N word. I've never spoken on What's the Dirt and Justin Hunt's beef, and I never will. It doesn't matter to me. I've never spoken on it, and I never will. I know that bothers some people. Why won't you pick a side? I think they're both cool guys. Justin Hunt and What's There. I think they're both cool guys. Vlad is part of the culture, but he's not from it. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. I would agree with that. Actually, I couldn't say I agree. I don't know how Vlad grew up. What if Vlad grew up around a bunch of black people? Vlad grew up listening to hip hop. Vlad grew up in it, going to shows, breakdancing. How could you say this dude is not from it? Well, let's let this man speak.
Dirt is a Canadian white man with no direct connection to Black American culture, obviously ethnicity. So at the very most, he would be considered a guest in Black American culture. He's considered a guest into the hip hop sphere.
I can see where he's going with this already.
Off rip, he would be considered a guest.
So if your definition of hip hop culture is the Black American culture, that if your definition of hip hop culture, it has to lead through the Black American culture, then yes, anyone who's not black would be a guest. But I would counter, and I'm going to leave it at this because I already know where he's going with this. Salute to this guy. I subscribe. You guys should subscribe too. Get this dude to 4K. I would respond with this. The culture as it relates to hip hop, there are black people who don't know anything about hip hop. Breakdancing, graffiti, rapping, what did I miss? And DJing. They don't know anything. They're from the suburbs. They're super Christian. They're not allowed to listen to secular music. How could you say that they are a part of hip hop culture? How would be, and they don't know anything about it. Now you can say, well, as a black American, you lived experience, and okay, they know what it means to be black. But I guess my definition, like I said, everyone has a different definition. My definition delineates. There's Black American culture, and of course, hip hop is underneath that. We created every music genre in this country, dang near, even house, country. We created it. There's black culture. There's hip hop culture, which is under black culture, subsidiary. But to be a part of hip hop culture, and I'll correct myself on this. I won't say from, because I can see how logically I could be picked apart by saying someone's from it, but they're not from it. Okay, cool. To be a part of hip hop culture, to me, my definition, you don't have to be black. You just have to be immersed in hip hop culture and knowledgeable of it. There's a hip hop culture in Japan. How many black people in Japan? 4? But there's hip hop culture. They're breakdancing, all that. They listening to G Unit. But they not black. But they know a lot about hip hop. Would you say they're not a part of hip hop culture? Even though that they're participating more so than we are in the States nowadays? Like, we not breakdancing. We not really still listening to our legends. Our legends from the 80s and the 90s can't really tour in the USA. They got to go out of state for the people who appreciate their music. So I guess that's the delineation I'll make. From the culture, sure. A part of the culture. And I think people get this. I think a lot of people were being... The thing is, people don't like that I don't pick a side between Company Man, Justin Hunt, and What's the Dirt. They don't like that I don't pick a side. So they take it as you're defending What's the Dirt. Shout out to What's the Dirt. I like his channel. So they take that non-willingness to pick a side as you're defending him. And I do think What's the Dirt is a part of the culture. I would wager that What's the Dirt knows more about hip hop than most people in the chat. I would bet my money on that. But if we've truly felt that being a part of the culture meant you have to, it's through the lens of Black American experience, like Nile Ross said, you guys should not be directing your anger at me. Direct your anger at your favorite YouTuber, the Company Man. If you actually feel that, and I don't feel this way, but if you feel that being a part of the culture, or not, being a part of the culture means first it's through the black lens. You got to be black. Why don't you ask And I don't agree with this. I know people are going to clip this and do all types of weird stuff. It's okay, though. But ask him, why are there non-black people on the Culture United? If being a part of the culture is what you guys and some people are saying, why would there be a show called The Culture United with non-black people? I'll answer that for you. Because Jeremy Hecht knows about hip hop. To me, Jeremy Hecht is a part of the culture. It makes sense to me. Some of y'all will look at Rob Markman. Well, is he Hispanic? Is he black? To me, it doesn't matter. Rob Markman knows hip hop. He's a part of the culture. Needle Drop knows hip hop. He's a part of the culture. So me, when I look at this, the Culture United, to me, it all makes sense. But to y'all who are so adamant about, no, the culture means black experience. And then you're coming at me. You shouldn't be coming at me. Look at who actually unites the culture and then look who's on the thing. Look who's on the panel. If you actually feel like the culture means black, then why are there non-black people on this panel? The only reason I pose that question is because the reason why people haven't, like, my last live stream was not controversial. I think it's actually my best live stream, to be honest. I was very clear. Like, I was like on this, the words were flowing. I was very clear. I actually remember everything I said. The reason why people have an issue is because I don't take a side between, I don't even speak on Company Man and What's the Dirt's thing they had going on. I don't speak on it. I've never spoken on it. So they take it as me defending What's the Dirt and then they attack it on that. That's why people are sending super chats earlier saying, yo, speak on it. This person said that person said that. It's fine. But if you actually felt that way about the culture, and I'm going to get to the super chats, ask yourself why the Company Man, who, like I spoke about, the Company Man is a proper journalist. I spoke about this earlier in the live stream. Those who have been there the whole time, salute to you, you know. I said I respect journalists to a different degree because I hold them to a higher expectation. And if you've done journalism professionally, you have like there's a higher bar to meet as a journalist making content as opposed to me. I just hop on the mic and say my opinions. As a journalist, it's about more than your opinions. So the Company Man is a proper journalist. He knows more about hip hop, like I said earlier, than most people in the chat. Probably knows more about hip hop than me. And I don't say that about many people. So if you actually feel how you feel, and it's not just about me taking a different opinion, if you feel the culture means black, and if you ain't black, well, go and question the Culture United podcast. Because there's non-black people. How could it be the Culture United if there's black people who are not black? I'll answer that for you. I'll answer it. Because they know about hip hop. They are a part of the hip hop culture and they are knowledgeable on it. Period. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. Stephen Lynn said you probably voted for Trump. I voted for Bernie Sanders the past 3 elections. Yerny. Let's see. Reading the chat. How do you feel about the line, rapping like you're trying to get the slaves free? I didn't like that line by Drake. I think when Drake said that, it just opened him up to that last verse and not like us. Once upon a time, all of us was in chains. Homie still doubled down, calling us some slaves. Like, Drake just walked into that last verse by saying that. Like, why would you say that? People in Japan are taking part in Cholo culture too. They dang sure ain't Spanish, but them girls look good. I mean, sure. Juice Lee said Jeremy's a guest. Cool. So you define hip hop culture. Like, to you, being black is a precursor to being a part of hip hop culture. And I'm not saying you're wrong. That's your definition. I'm just saying we all have different definitions. So it can become convoluted, which it has. The culture. We're not gonna yell it this time. The culture. Where we at? Let's see. Where's some good chats? We're gonna read the good chats, then we're gonna get up out of here. I mean, shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to all the lurkers who are not in the chat. We appreciate y'all. Just hit subscribe. Who black takes Anthony Fantano seriously? I take him seriously. I think Anthony Fantano has great album reviews. Javi said, I don't like Needle Drop, but I cannot deny his knowledge on hip hop. Yeah, Needle Drop knows a lot about music. So some of you guys are willing to disregard Anthony Fantano because he's not black. And that's fine. That just means your definition of culture hinges upon being black as it relates to hip hop. That's just not my culture. Being a part of the culture means, is your parents getting mad at you for not checking in when you said you would and think you got shot by someone or a cop? There's a new definition. I mean, that's a whole different definition. I mean, like I said, everybody got definitions. Yo, y'all trying to make it seem like, how could you not know what the culture means, bruh? That means you ain't from the culture. Bro, I don't know what it means because y'all are all using it different ways. Dead homies. So Culture United isn't corny to no one else? Okay, I respect Culture United. And like a lot of things I've critiqued the Culture United. Their very first show, I had my criticisms. But I still send them super chats. I still mess with them. I think it's a good thing. It's dead in y'all face. Y'all are asking me the tough questions when it's dead in your face. Culture United. It's not all black people, man. Because it doesn't take being black to be in a part of hip hop culture. I don't know what's. I don't know. If I be in trouble, where we at in chat? Yeah, they are respectful and knowledgeable. I agree. Culture United. Shout out to them. Has anyone seen What's the Dirt's Kid Rock vid? Company Man gave it props. Troy, the knowledge part is what the youth need to brush up on. Yes, I can care less as it relates to hip hop culture. I could care less if you're black. I want to know, do you know hip hop? The origins. Have you listened? Even if you've I want to listen to one album from the 80s, hip hop. I'm gonna listen to one album from the 90s, one album from 2000s. I respect that because that shows you care about it. You care about this thing we call hip hop. And it doesn't matter if you're Indian, Filipino, white, it doesn't matter. I respect that a lot more than you being black and then not knowing anything about hip hop. That's just me. I mean, you guys don't have to agree with me as long as you understand what I'm saying. Queen's Native said, I personally don't mind your opinion. I respect your perspective. Salute. I don't be asking y'all to agree. The thing is this, right? I know when I make a video, and I think FD Signifier said this on a Culture United stream. FD Signifier said, as content creators, we know when we make a video that's going to do numbers. We know like the words or the topics that our audience is going to go up for. Me, subsequently, I know when I'm going to make a video where I'm going to lose subscribers. I know it because I know the topics, I know the talking points. I know when I make a video, I know I'm going to lose subscribers when I post this. So most people will be looking like, why would you post a video why would you even post that when you're going to lose subscribers? I don't be caring, man. My channel is a reflection of me. So I'm going to put my opinions out there and it just is what it is. Sami says, I cosplay in your culture and I know more than you, but then when black people are biracial, say, you know what, I'm going to use my whiteness to use my privileges and see what happens. Drake said it. Yo, shout out to Sami. We don't know what you're talking about, but W Sami in the chat. So W Sami in the chat. Well, yeah, I'm trying to find the good messages before I get y'all up out of here. Good chats. How many breakdance studios have Latinos opened up for black kids? What does that have to do with the culture? As it relates to your definition, again, we all Black Attack's definition of the culture says, if you're going to be non-black in the culture, you got to open up a dance studio for black kids. So that's a whole different definition of a culture. It's all about, okay, we're not going to read that one. Y'all respect his take, salutes. Culture, recognize culture, and you looking real unfamiliar right now, that's fine. See, if somebody tell me I'm not from the culture and Zero is trolling me, but if someone was serious, it wouldn't even matter to me, man. I don't care. I mean, what if I'm more knowledgeable in Anthony Fantano's white culture if he was, let's say, Italian, and I knew more about Italy than him? Am I a part of his culture? No. So you're not taking equivalence. You're comparing hip hop culture, which is a subsection of black culture, with a nationality. Now, if you knew a lot about a subsect of an Italian music and you were a journalist and you studied it and you're one of the most popular media people in that Italian subgenre of music, it would be pretty darn hard. And you lived in that country, you spoke the language. It would be pretty darn hard to say that you're not a part of that culture. Academics, where you at?
Facts.
Fantano is a very reasonable person. I like Fantano. Check out the vid with him and FD Signifier. Truest Move says, Troy, please read my previous comments. I need an answer. I think it's right here. Truest Moves, your previous comment says, I mean, what if I'm more knowledgeable? Okay, I read that. I just read that. It's so funny watching people who lived through Tupac, Biggie, and age group. What do we call that? Ageism. Sure, the respect is there, but anybody can be taught, man. That doesn't mean guests come to hip hop and start disrespecting Black American artists or claiming they're the best when they aren't. It depends on what your definition of disrespect. If you're a part of the culture, I mean, you can critique, anyone can critique anyone. Is what's the dirt, biased or unbiased? I would say biased. And I would say I'm biased. I'm biased towards Kendrick. I am. I'm biased towards West Coast artists. I am. We're all biased. Stay blessed. Are you biased or unbiased? We all have bias. Troy, you're making this something else. Others are fine in the culture, but don't disrespect. I'm not of the opinion that people need to sit down and shut up. I hate when like news reporters even do that to athletes. Just play ball. No, you're allowed to have your opinions, and it is what it is. But I'm not. Again, people want me to take. People's real issue is I'm not taking a side in the whole what's the dirt company, man. That's people's actual issue. You're stuck on black. No one here is saying you have to be black. Actually, January Kid, people did say that their definition of culture and even is being black. And even who's Nile Ross?
It's Ross.
His video says that his definition of the culture is filtered first through the Black American experience. So people actually did say that. You said Latinos' contributions was by bringing breakdancing. I didn't say Latinos brought breakdancing. They were early on hip hop culture though. Civil rights movement have white contributors, but it was about Black American struggle. See, sometimes I feel like I'm being clear, but then I read some of the comments and I'm just like, maybe I wasn't being clear. Critique is different than disrespect. You might be right. I didn't get into that whole little beef. I don't know. So maybe you guys, I'm missing. There's a key part missing. I don't have like the bandwidth to see all the YouTube drama. So there's a key part that I'm missing that you guys have seen that you're extremely offended by. So that's my ignorance. That's my fault. I haven't seen that. And I'm probably not going to see it. I just don't care enough about individual beefs on YouTube. Dang, Chet making on me. Yeah, I'm biased, but I can admit when Drake raps good. Okay, so yeah. You don't feel like What's the Dirt can do the same? What's the Dirt did a whole video on 616 in LA that you guys loved. You guys loved What's the Dirt before he did the Family Matters joint. Remember that. You guys loved it. You guys loved it. So, I was the one critiquing What's the Dirt's 616 in LA video. I critiqued that. I said there's too much reaches. And y'all looked at me like, no, you just not smart enough to understand Kendrick's videos. You're not smart enough to understand Kendrick's lyrics. I was the one critiquing the 616. Y'all love that shit. This is the fact.
Facts.
People get mad because I'm too nice. You can't play Z everyone. Yeah, I know. I'm doing this for the live stream. I'm letting people get their rocks off. It's live stream, so we do this for the live stream. It's fine. You said Vlad is a pillar of hip hop. I did not say that. Vlad is of mainstream. There's only 4 pillars of hip hop: DJing, breakdancing, graffiti, rapping. There's only 4. In terms of media, nowadays, yes, Vlad is a primary part of hip hop culture in the media. That's facts.
Facts.
Not me. I did not like the Euphoria video. Y'all say it now. It's convenient. See, I say the things that's inconvenient, man. And I'll end on the video that I put up earlier. I'll end on the video I put up earlier. Actually, I'll end on 2 videos. The first is why I don't get into these YouTube beefs. If you watched my most recent video, and I'll end it on this. If you watch my most recent video, the academics pie chart, there's a part about chronically online people. We got chronically online folks. These people are chronically online. They know everything about every caveat of online banter. They know everything about the diaspora wars between Jamaicans and Black Americans and Nigerians. They know everything about that. They know all the red pill stuff. Who's beefing in the red pill? Who's beefing in the women's red pill space? Facts.
Facts.
They know everything about you guys can't see wars, and they're chronically online. And the thing is, they know all this information about these random online banter. And they think you're dumb for not knowing. That's facts. So I would like to believe I'm chronically online. I would like to believe that I am, because I do spend a lot of time online looking up, researching stuff. But then I'm reminded in the comment section that I'm not. Like a lot of people are way more online. And they look at you like you're dumb for not knowing these specific stuff about what happened between John Doe and this person. They look at you like you dumb. So I'll tell you this. This is why I don't get into the whole dissing other YouTubers and getting into other people's beefs. I was watching a Vlad interview with Whack 100, and Whack 100 he didn't say exactly what I thought, but this is a part of why I don't do it.
And I tell a lot of people in this YouTube shit, they talk about people and they tell the world this.
And Black 100, speaking facts.
This person ain't this person is that. He ain't this, he ain't that. And
a lot of people, you guys know YouTubers. You guys know.
And it makes other people believe these things, and they'll run the risk of coming playing with a certain person.
I mean, he's preaching.
And then they find out the hard way really what it is, because it's.
Yeah. I try not to do that, and I'll also end on this note. And this is for real, the last thing. This is kind of how I started this whole. You guys wanted me to talk about this. That's the only reason I'm talking about this. But I'll end on this by Asmongold. Asmongold. This is how I feel. He encapsulated how I feel about YouTube and how I make my content.
This as a responsibility. I try to be as fair and critical as I can be and authentic.
Facts!
Now, sometimes this rubs people the wrong way. People don't like what my opinions are. That's fine. But at the end of the day, I will do my best to be as authentic as possible.
And I think that's why people like my channel. I'm not going to regurgitate. It's easy to regurgitate the same. YouTube has an algorithm. If you want to get in good with the algorithm, you get a lot of likes. And if you want to get a lot of likes, you just pander to the viewer. They'll like the video. They're more likely to like the video if it's confirmation bias. I don't make content like that. So yes, sometimes people will disagree with my opinions. I have a lot of opinions that people disagree with. Like I said earlier, I know when I'm making a video and I'm going to lose subscribers, but I still post it. But why? Because that's just how I make content. My channel is a reflection of me in a way. I know when I make a video when I say a comment, I generally know. Like last live stream shocked me though. Like why are people so surprised about this? I didn't say anything controversial, but it is what it is. And I think that's why people like the channel. There are going to be times in hip hop or just in general, our general cultural space as black people, there are going to be times where things happen where you're actually looking for a nuanced opinion. And even if you don't like me because you disagree with me, you may find yourself hungry for a viewpoint that is not pandering to what the general YouTuber is putting out. And then you'll probably find your way back here because that's just how I run things. But anyways, I'll read the chat. Let's read the chat. We're going to read the chat, then be out. Yo, we still got 97 people in here, 97 to 100. Shout out to y'all. I'm pretty sure you guys are all subscribed already. My thing is, I don't expect my audience to agree with me 100% of the time. You meat riding if you're doing that. And if you meat riding, I can't respect you. I don't expect you to agree with me 100% of the time. This is what the comment section is for. Then we can go back and forth, have some good discourse. That's the type of channel I got. So even though I don't expect you to agree 100% of the time, I do expect you to understand what I'm saying because I do explain it, I think, pretty well. But anyways, let's do 5 more chats. Let's do 5. I'm not. Yeah, you guys. Your fair opinion is what's the dirt? Yeah, what's the dirt's part of the culture. Based on my opinions, or not based on my definition. Yes, he's a part of the culture. DJ Vlad is a part of the culture. Adam 22 is a part of the culture. They're a part of hip hop culture. Like I don't know how. You would have to give me your definition. But if your definition is filtered through the black experience, then I understand why you would feel that they're not a part of the culture. But that's not my definition. I found about the FBA because of Fat Joe. I knew of them, but not the history. I do not mean to say the word problem and speak on Jason Martin, even though he told the naked to chill. Sami, what is you? Oh, man, yo, Sami.
This is a sick Negro.
What? Yo, W Sami in the chat. Chat, drop your best Kendrick bar. Really, I'm just stuck in the loop of understanding the truth. Because it seemed like it's always clashing with science. The Heart Part 2. Those YouTube views and trying to spin Kendrick's bar. Okay. I feel like old school music, just put it in your mouth. Okay, sorry, it's great. Okay, that's all we got for today. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.